All right, we are live here this Tuesday a.m. here in St. Louis. See in front of me, activists locking down in front of the Wells Fargo headquarters parking garage. Looks like they had to shut down the main entrance. We have just to the right over here police or security pulling everybody into the side entrance over here. So they do have the main entrance to the parking garage when all the Wells Fargo employees are getting in this morning, so it's causing a little bit of delay for them. You can see behind me here giant Wells Fargo headquarters here in St. Louis. So this is part of the larger anti-pipeline struggle that's been going on throughout the country. You saw me in North Dakota last winter at this time, showing a similar battle. This is for Line 3 in Wisconsin and Minnesota right now. Also extracting tar sands from way up north and sending them down to the Gulf to sell. And it's very toxic oil. It'll eats through those pipes real quick. It's a lot less safe than other oil going through pipelines, which leak all the time as it is. So there are some police on the scene. As soon as we get the next crosswalk signal, we're going to cross the street. See all the Wells Fargo workers there waiting across the street, having to walk by the protesters, hearing what they're saying as they're leaving the parking garage to get to work here in the morning.
All right, I'm gone.
Hey, Derek, where's the video?
They took the statement.
Wells Fargo water the last 15 years. Over 1 billion gallons of oil. All we're asking is for Enbridge, or for you guys to divest from Enbridge and invest instead in green energy. Look at where your investments go. Thank you. Look at where your investments go. That's all we're asking. We're only like 5
Yeah, we'll try and
once that oil gets into the water, it's going to come down to you cannot get it back out. We just want water for our grandchildren, for your grandchildren. Please just go inside. I know you don't want to look over here, so you don't want to hear what I'm saying, but just go inside. I actually have a job.
Invest in clean energy.
That line is so cliche to think
Oil is not the future.
Just do this and our jobs. It's called CGA.
You are so stupid, it fucking hurts. God, get a life.
Really?
Whenever you want to have a conversation, you make a human
Oil is the future.
That's why we're here. Thank you.
Oil and water is not the future. It's not drinkable. Would you like some water?
Oil is God's way of storing solar energy.
Oh my God.
For what we believe in.
Oh, that's a first. I haven't heard that one yet.
My conviction, sir. You're exactly why I'm here today, and I'm going to keep showing up until I'm dead. Thank you.
You are gross.
Shut it down.
A gentleman walking by the protesters saying oil is God's way of storing solar energy. And apparently by his logic, then God wants a bunch of the carbon dioxide released to overheat the planet. So not great planning by his God, per se, if that's what he believes, but some of the protesters have this Wells Fargo water with Wells Fargo labels on it. Looks like oil.
Invest in clean energy. Other banks have done it. It's not impossible. It's not unreasonable. Is it crazy to say invest in renewable energy right now?
There's only 5 of us. We care about the water. We care about your children having access to clean water. We care about your grandchildren. I care about my grandchildren. Please just look into it. Once that oil goes into the water, you cannot take it out. You cannot take it out. Look into the investments of Wells Fargo. They've invested over $740 million in Enbridge. Enbridge is an extraction company that extracts from the tar sands. One of the dirtiest ways to extract oil. Oh my God, you guys are gonna get hit by cars so you don't have to hear me? That's crazy.
I'm only a scientist. Don't pay attention to what we're saying if you just don't care about science.
Would you like some Wells Fargo water, sir?
Invest in clean energy. It's not crazy.
700, we need your guys' help.
It's the beginning of a way of living.
Yes, I wanted to say that.
Locked water's only good for other people. Should I just do
Sorry. Do you have the other phone? Yeah, I'm going to send you the press release if you can put it on your page. About a pipeline water cooler.
Oh. Trying to think if I can.
Do you guys like some Wells Fargo water? We're asking Wells Fargo to divest from Enbridge. $740 million you guys have invested in Enbridge. Enbridge has had over 1,000 spills in the last 15 years, over 1 billion gallons of oil. You cannot take that oil back out of the water. Look into your investment.
Invest in clean energy.
So we are here in St. Louis in front of the Wells Fargo headquarters here. Activists have locked down in front of the main parking garage where the workers park, right in front of the main parking garage entrance and exit here. So they have cops directing people into the side entrance over here. So it is causing a little bit of a backup. And it's forcing all the Wells Fargo employees to walk by the protesters as they cross the street over to the headquarters.
That's a great metaphor. Don't get hit by a car.
So this action is part of the larger nationwide divestment movement from big banks that are sponsoring the companies that extract and build the pipelines for the tar sand oil that is very gritty. It eats up the pipes real quick. It leaks a lot quicker than the regular pipes, which leak all the time.
The old chief climatologist at NASA.
And that oil is not even for us. It gets refined and then sold off to third world countries. So it's not for our infrastructure. It's just to enrich the large banks and investors.
And this company is partially responsible, amongst other institutions, for that climate.
And as these protesters would tell you, it's time we move beyond oil. Anyway, it's far beyond time, unlike the one gentleman who works at Wells Fargo who was telling the protesters, hey, oil is the future. Oil is God's way of storing solar energy. If you have that type of mindset, ignoring science, that's part of why humankind has destroyed the earth the way we have, thinking everything's for our taking and for us and us alone, and we have decimated our environment, and that's why activists like this have been doing this. And this is for the line through the Enbridge Line 3 pipeline going through Wisconsin and Minnesota at the moment. You have activists in camps up there trying to stop that construction as we speak. So you have activists here in St. Louis in solidarity with them here at the global head or the corporate headquarters of Wells Fargo, sending a message to the workers and the bank.
Hey, Derek! Derek!
You need one? Oh, your little guy crapped out?
It looks incredible. It looks good. Yeah. We got a couple photos. That we didn't expect it to last long. It lasted slightly less time. We're just asking Wells Fargo to divest from Enbridge. $740 million you have invested in Enbridge. Just go look. That's all we're asking. We need your help. We need your help to ask Wells Fargo to invest in energy and not tar sand energy. I know it's scary. I know you'd rather get hit by a car than deal with the truth. I understand.
Energy is a very simple demand. Anyone think it's crazy to invest in renewable energy?
We do not
solar is
want.
not
We want a clean future for your grandchildren, for my grandchildren. I'm actually really scared. There's oil. You guys, there's oil and water everywhere. We cannot take it out. We have no way to take it out. Go and look. Wells Fargo invested in Enbridge. They're an extraction infrastructure, or they're an extraction infrastructure company. They've had over 1 billion gallons of oil that has been spilled. It's so easy to go look at Enbridge. Over 1 billion gallons of oil that has been spilled in the last 10 years.
I don't know what you're mentioning.
It's not if the pipelines are going to break.
This is actually from Minnesota. No, you're fine.
You guys, Wells Fargo has $740 million. $740 million invested. Please don't get hit by a car just because you don't want to hear it.
Please divest. Put that money in renewable energy.
Enbridge, look it up. You guys are one of their major investors. See, that car's going to get you too. They just don't care. But you're on your way to work.
Here, take my time.
Do you have an external?
I just gave it away.
Shit. I'll do everything. Wells Fargo is invested in Enbridge, $743 million. Don't get hit by the car running on gas. If you head in to invest in dirty tar sands oil, please just go look up Enbridge, $740 million.
I feel like that teacher, Bueller, anybody want?
anyone has that money invested in renewable energy? It gets cheaper and more efficient all the time. Does anyone actually think oil is the long-term solution for the species? Is it really crazy to think we should be putting that money in solar and other renewable sources of energy?
All we're asking is for you guys to divest from Enbridge. Go in and look at your investments. You guys are $740 million. $740 million you guys have invested in Enbridge. Enbridge extracts from tar sands. They're a bad company. You guys don't want your investments in a bad company. They've had over 1 million gallons of oil that they've spilled.
Would you all like some Wells Fargo water? Wells Fargo water, would you like some? Anybody? Oh, I guess it's just good for other people, right? Not you?
Invest in renewable energy. Take the money out of Enbridge. Enbridge is not the future. Oil is not the future.
Hey, Johnny, do you mind coming grabbing my phone? I don't really need it. It's in my belly pocket. It's in my kangaroo pouch.
Okay, Amber.
You're doing shares? Nice job. It takes my number.
We just wait long enough. It's cold outside. Can't go nowhere, you assholes. We are not going to be wet.
It's on. That's why I do it.
They've had over 1 billion gallons of oil spilled in the last 15 years. 1 billion gallons. Is that a company you guys want to be invested in? 1 billion gallons of oil.
Do you have a legal? Put that money in renewable energy. That's all we're asking.
I have my laptop here. I was
Thank you.
thinking
Help take out your company because we're just 5 people out here trying to let people know. Look at Enbridge. Enbridge is scary. Over 1 billion gallons of oil spilled in the last 15 years.
Hey, you guys going to do some interviews on a live?
Laura, right here behind you. You got a really good person.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then you should go down the line.
Yeah, I do want some LockDowners perspective too. Okay.
I don't have anything to say.
Okay.
I just yell like the whole time. We're asking you to divest from Enbridge. Look at where your investments go. They extract from tar sands, $740 million. Invest in clean energy instead.
Would you like some Wells Fargo water, sir? Would you like some Wells Fargo water?
Invested in extraction infrastructure.
I mean, it's not good enough for you, but it's good enough for our grandkids.
Look at your investments. You guys are invested in Enbridge.
Would you like some Wells Fargo water?
We're trying to take it,
This is my life.
We're trying to get our lives
really
back.
happy. In fact, I seem a little happier than you.
He's already sold his soul.
That's my cubicle.
Look at the Enbridge.
Would you like some Wells Fargo water for your
to
tea?
divest out of extraction, oil extraction. Actually, any extraction. All extraction.
Our planet.
Hey folks, what's going on here? A lockdown in action at the Wells Fargo in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Minnesota, fighting against Enbridge Line 3 pipeline.
So here in St. Louis at the Wells Fargo headquarters over here. This is the main parking garage where the workers enter in the morning. activists have locked down in front of the main entrance to the parking garage, which security has shut down. So there's police over here directing everybody into the side entrance of the parking garage, but then forcing workers to walk right by them to cross the street over to the headquarters, so still getting the message out. This is in solidarity with the No Line 3 pipeline protesters in Minnesota and Wisconsin. That company is Enbridge, which is funded by Wells Fargo Investments. Enbridge with a very bad track history of pipeline leaks, especially when you get tar sands in it. All the statistics the companies are going to give you about life of the pipelines is not accurate with tar sands oil. It's very coarse and gritty, so of course it eats away those pipes real quick. I mean, we've got pipeline leaks all the time. People say it's just another pipeline. There's thousands of them across the country, and that's the point at this point. I think a lot of people, including these activists, think we should be moving beyond oil at this point, investment in clean energy.
Renewable energy. Put it in the future.
And people are like, what's one more pipeline? Well, one more pipeline, we've already got thousands that are leaking. Why would we add more to that issue? So the excuse, there's already thousands of pipelines, what's the big deal?
Closed.
Please ask your company to divest from Enbridge. It would be really helpful. We'll come use for your kid's birthday party if you want. Get them to divest.
Would you guys like some Wells Fargo water? It's going to be a long day, Wells Fargo water. Because this is what our grandkids are going to be drinking. And this is what the indigenous folks on this land in the pipeline is going to go through.
We're asking you guys to divest from Enbridge. Please look it up. $740 million you guys have invested in Enbridge. The Enbridge extraction of tar sands. I know you've heard those words. They've had over 1 million gallons of oil spilled in 15 years. Over 1,000 oil spills. It's not a company you guys want to be invested in. We're asking you guys to go in and look up Enbridge. Instead, invest in renewables.
Invest in our future. I'm 23 years old. I have to live on this planet for the rest of my life. Put that money in the future. Put it in renewable energy.
No, where'd you send it?
Oil is not the future. Does anyone think it is?
Oh my God, you're not real. You don't work. What is that? That's something permanent. What is that thing? Object permanence.
You can't see it.
Yeah.
Hey, LockDowners.
We're at Wells Fargo in St. Louis, Missouri, downtown. Many of us here have been up north with the Resistant Line 3. This line is going through their authorized work. So not only do we have a pipeline once again threatening indigenous water, but we have some threatening their food supply. This is why they migrate to the county because of the migrant status. We're also joining the local movement action calling for divestment of fossil fuels. It's not my idea or any of our ideas. Science has done all the work. There's 99% of the scientific community telling us that we need to do this, and not only that we need to do this, but we need to do it immediately if we want a planet to live on. So really, the science is there. There's no reason that we need to continue to be immobile and not activated. We need to take this knowledge and put it to work. It's time that we finally recognize indigenous sovereignty, and when they call on us to stand for them, it's that time that we actually do that. You guys, this is another pipeline expanding the genocide that's happening to indigenous people. What comes with pipelines is not only fossil fuels, it's not only dirty water, it's not only land grab, but it's missing and murdered indigenous women because man camps are built on reservations and near reservations, and there is uncounted amount of native and murdered and missing indigenous women in America. Canada, there's 4,000. In America, there's so many, they don't even have a number to give out.
All right, so I just posted the press release that I was just issued on the Facebook page. If you're watching on Facebook, you can check out the updated post, refresh your page, and you can see that in the description.
$40 million invested in Enbridge oil, or in Enbridge. Enbridge is an extraction company. They extract from the tar sands, the dirtiest oil extraction. They've had over 1 million gallons of oil that they have spilled. Please go on Enbridge's website. You guys have $743 million invested in Enbridge. They've had over 1 billion gallons of oil that was spilled between 1999 and 2014. So it's even more by now. They've had over 1,000 oil spills. They are not a company that you want to be connected with.
Put all of that money in renewable energy.
And ask your business to go and divest from Enbridge. Ask to instead invest in one. Listen, all you gotta do is look this way and tell you why I'm here. You don't have to shake your shoulders. We're asking you guys to go in and divest from Enbridge.
Just move that money to renewable energy.
They're an
Any of y'all
extraction
think
company.
that oil is the long-term solution for the planet, for your kids or for your grandkids? Does anyone think renewable energy is a bad idea? The sun is giving us free energy.
All right, let me read that press release to you guys. So it says, water protectors blockade Wells Fargo employee parking garage in St. Louis, Missouri, demanding a divestment from the Enbridge Line 3 tar sands pipeline. So on the morning of November 14th, 2017, 5 water protectors take action in solidarity with frontline indigenous resistance efforts at Camp Makwa to stop the construction of Enbridge Line 3 tar sands pipeline in Minnesota. The activists locked down to each other and used their bodies to disrupt business as usual at Wells Fargo, one of the major financial players behind the genocidal, extractive fossil fuel project. Wells Fargo has $743 million invested in Enbridge, which funds tar sands, including their Line 3 tar sands pipeline. This action is one of hundreds taking place across the globe to call for divestment from financial institutions invested in the destructive fossil fuel industry. Wells Fargo is just another institution that continues to make blood money off fossil fuels at a time when scientists are telling us that we must make a just transition to renewables. And that message is from Alex Cohen of the Earth Defense Coalition. And I'll read that off in a little bit here once again.
We're not trying to put people out of work. Do you know how many jobs would be created if we switched our energy grid to renewables? There'd be more jobs than any pharmaceutical corporations could even fathom providing to the population.
Keith.
Yeah.
Your press release is
Oh!
I'm like, I think I counted wrong, but maybe not.
Joining millions standing up against fossil fuels as financial institution across the globe, calling for divestment. The world is speaking, the scientific community is speaking. It's time to listen and act boldly and quickly. Divest from these destructive practices. It's not funny for people already experiencing the havoc of climate chaos, indigenous people, indigenous women that are murdered and missing from man camps, and clean water supplies that are threatened. Poor people are least responsible for climate chaos and environmental pollution and the most affected. Please, please listen to the scientific community and indigenous people people and divest from fossil fuels.
Does anyone think renewable energy is a bad idea? Does anyone think oil is the long-term solution? Really?
Yeah, this quote was inspired by Dante's Inferno. It was written by someone born in St. Louis who had the unfortunate experience of spending a lot of time as a banker as he tried to get his career as a poet started. And these are just a few lines from his most famous work. Unreal city, under the brown fog of a winter dawn, a crowd flowed over London Bridge. So many, I had not thought death had undone so many. Sighs, short and infrequent, were exhaled as each man fixed his eyes before his feet, flowed up the hill and down King William Street. That is from T.S. Eliot's Wasteland, about life as a banker and what it does to the soul.
Thank you.
You two have anything to say?
Hey, I found you.
Good morning.
We're asking Wells Fargo to divest from Enbridge, sir. We're asking people to go inside and look up. You guys have $30 million invested in Enbridge. Enbridge is an extraction.
Across the street, watching her make his eyes.
It's had over 1 million gallons of oil spilled in the last
Avoiding
15 years.
the sea.
Over 1,000 oil spills. It's not a company I would want to be associated with at all. And that's you guys really look at your investments. Invest in renewable
That's
energy.
a,
Oh, oops.
Yeah, it's a straight lift on that size, short, and sweet, and I thought they had something
One more, just
from this very connected
It's time to put more into renewable energy. It's well past time.
Enbridge, Wells Fargo's invested in Enbridge, which is invested in tar sands.
Which means death.
For all of us.
We're asking you guys to go in and look at your
We
investments.
have
You
it.
guys
Come
are
on up.
invested
Martin and
$740
Jefferson.
million into Enbridge.
We're here. We need your
Enbridge
support.
is a tar sands extraction corporation.
So although this lockdown does not prevent employees from getting in the parking garage, police are directing them to the side entrance over here, the smaller entrance. It is taking a little bit more time for people to get in and out of the garage, and then all the employees have to walk right past the protesters to cross over to the Wells Fargo building here. So definitely getting their message out to the employees today. The message being to try to get their company to divest from Enbridge's Line 3 tar sands pipeline, oil pipeline.
Invested in Enbridge. Enbridge is very responsible for the tar sands up in Alberta. They're currently constructing Line 3 pipeline that's starting from the tar sands and working its way down to Minnesota to 2 separate reservations threatening indigenous people, the White Earth Reservation as well as the Fond-du-Lac Reservation. And
I know the brakes are on the
Wisconsin will then be provided. Please call on your company to divest from this dirty process and all fossil fuels. There's a million reasons to oppose fossil fuels. A million reasons to oppose fossil fuels. Just find one and stand up for what's right and what's just.
We can put our hashtag right here too.
So what?
We can put our hashtag right here too so that we can see our messaging better.
Hold on. Hey! How are you doing?
Look at these poses. You guys look great.
I know.
Hey everyone.
What
is that? Should respect another time.
We're asking Wells Fargo. I know you don't want to come down this way. It's super uncomfortable. We're a little uncomfortable, to be honest. We're asking you guys to divest from Enbridge. You guys have over $740 million invested in Enbridge. Go and look at your investments. We're asking you guys. Enbridge is a company that does oil infrastructure. They extract from tar sands, which is the filthiest way to extract oil. They've had over 1 billion gallons of oil spilled in the last 15 years, from 1990
All we're saying is put that money in renewable energy. Not saying burn it and destroy it. Just move it to something that's sustainable long term.
Do you want some Wells Fargo brand water? Wells Fargo water.
Hey, you think about how you spend your money every day. You're spending your money this way. Think about your money. This is America. Think about your damn money.
Put that money in renewable energy.
Look at Enbridge. You're going to have nightmares.
Everyone knows it's the future. I think we all agree on this.
Be good capitalists. Make good investments. Ditch oil.
You birthday parties. I love you.
So for new viewers, we are here in St. Louis at the Wells Fargo headquarters here. All right.
Thanks for reminding me why I'm out here.
So again, protesters here locking down in front of the parking garage, the Wells Fargo headquarters, slowing down the arrival of the employees, forcing them to walk by. The protesters locking down in solidarity with protesters right now in Minnesota trying to stop and halt construction of the Enbridge 3 pipeline, funneling more tar sands, just like the DAPL pipeline through North Dakota. They all leak, and the tar sands pipelines leak even more. They degrade those pipes real quick. They have a very short lifespan before they do start causing leaks. And yes, we have thousands of pipelines, but the more we have, it's time to stop building them now and to take the ones out that are leaking. We know they leak. The oil industry covers it up all the time. And so these protesters are in solidarity with the camps right now trying to stop that pipeline action. Trying to encourage the Wells Fargo employees to tell their bosses to divest from oil. Wells Fargo was one of the main investors to DAPL.
So they got to do all that energy into it just to get it to flow down a pipeline.
We're asking you guys to look at your investments. You have over $740 million invested in Enbridge. Enbridge is an oil extraction company.
Divestment from fossil fuel infrastructure. Wells Fargo specifically invested into Enbridge.
Take some pictures, man. Social media this shit. This is the real deal. All over the world. Lots of people are not sitting in cubicles 40 hours a week, you know.
Put that money in renewable energy, please. It's future, my future. I've got to live on this planet.
You got kids, you got nieces, you got nephews, you got grandkids. Think about that, man. Women, people, folks.
What about your degree in finance says that you can disrespect treaty land? The sovereign nations that we signed on years and years ago.
A rise in temperatures can mean the rise in kidney stones and other climate-related illnesses.
Those are a bitch to pass.
Yeah.
Put that money in renewable energy, please.
Turn around and look at us. Turn around. Is there any way we can do like something?
All you have to do is divest and we leave. That's it.
Hey, we're calling on financial institutions across the globe to divest from fossil fuels, especially Wells Fargo, who's invested in Enbridge, which is responsible for tar sands up in Alberta, and the construction of Line 3, which is once again threatening indigenous sovereignty, their wild rice farms, and their water.
1 billion gallons of oil.
How you doing? Doing all right.
They admit to
Gotta take my ass to
1
work.
billion gallons of oil.
Public spin by here.
1999 to 2014.
All that money could be in renewable energy.
She loves us. Deirdre says hello and she loves you.
Hi, Deirdre. Look at your Enbridge investment.
What do you think is the future? Solar or oil?
And hang around
Free
here.
energy.
Excited about your money. We are.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
Carbon energy is the energy of death.
for now.
Right, exactly. All right.
You guys want to do that? No, never mind. Cuban twist like that. Not worth it. Okay, you guys want to do it?
So again, for new viewers, we're here in St. Louis, in front of the Wells Fargo headquarters parking garage here. Group of 5 activists locking down with lock boxes in front of the parking garage main entrance. Police have opened up one of the side entrances and are diverting all people into that. It's forcing all the Wells Fargo employees who are coming out of the parking garage. They got to cross the street right in front of the protesters, so the message is getting out there this morning. And it's in solidarity with the global divestment movement happening, trying to pull financial resources from the large energy companies building these pipelines and continuing to extract the dirty oil, and it's not even helping out Americans are bringing down oil prices here. It basically is being shipped piped to the coast and then sold off to third world countries. And even the oil that does get refined for U.S. usage, it's tar sands oil. It's much, it degrades the pipelines a lot faster. And I mean, there's pipeline leaks every week from newer and these aged and even the newer pipelines in construction. People say, well, it's just one more pipeline. There's thousands across the country already. Exactly. So why are we going to keep adding more pipelines that do leak? That's just going to exponentially increase our odds of dirtying our water supplies, which are going to be in crisis here very soon, as we know with the environmental shift that's happening. But, you know, global capitalism is going to push to try to extract every dollar they can out of oil while they can, to make all about making wealth, and that's really what it's about.
You're not going to get fired, man. You're not even going to get in trouble for this. We are, but you're not.
Enjoy your leisurely morning start.
Did you agree just above highway? That's a great idea. I've never gone to that. Who said that? There would be donuts in there? Bring out some donuts. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Bye.
I'll see you guys.
Keep jacking off somewhere, you're so happy.
Global divestment from fossil fuels, calling on financial institutions to divest.
Other banks have done it. It's not crazy. It's not unreasonable.
So just so you guys are aware, going to have to get going at some point here. Some other things happening today. The Board of Aldermen are proposing a bill. I don't know if they're voting on it today or just proposing, but it's a bill trying to restrict police from infringing on rights, not just on protesters, but also on media, independent journalists, live streamers, to not allow the cops to prevent people from videoing what they're doing, basically. They like to take out the cameras first, and they're trying to propose a bill that will prevent that, to hopefully then ensure the safety of protesters and their First Amendment rights. If cameras are around, police are usually less likely to infringe upon people's rights. Obviously, we did not see that in the first week here in St. Louis. They were more than happy to do it right on camera. But even in that first kettle on that first Sunday night, I was lucky they didn't take my camera like they did other people's right away. They ripped them off them. People got some of their equipment broken and smashed. Shut off right away before police came in and started pepper spraying everybody. Fortunately, mine was rolling, otherwise we would never have seen that. And that's why this bill, hopefully, if it gets passed, will be inspiring, hopefully, to other cities to allow independent press and citizen journalists to continue to roll. I mean, if the cities trust their police like they say they do, they should have no problems with citizens and independent media recording them while they do their actions, while they arrest people, whatever it is the police are doing. It's our right to film that and to show that. So that'll be happening this morning in just a couple hours. I'm not going to live stream that, obviously, but I do have to go there to check it out and possibly testify.
Got a gate opening, folks. We might need to put some people on the road.
So the parking garage, for some reason, just opened the main gate. They had it closed off as soon as people locked down here. They just opened it to let a few people out. I don't know why.
You guys have over $740 million invested into Enbridge. Enbridge is an oil extraction company. They build infrastructure for oil extraction, mostly from tar sands. They've had over 1 billion gallons of oil that they spilled between 1999 and 2014.
Seriously, who is against renewable energy? It's free energy from the sun every day. No pollution, nothing. Who could be against that?
Morbid energy is the energy of death.
By the way.
Just an FYI from a scientist.
Every nation in the world has signed the Paris Treaty, all of them.
Sun. The earth gives us for free.
Stop Enbridge now.
Stop Enbridge now.
Stop Enbridge now.
Stop Enbridge now.
We're gonna shut.
We're gonna shut
your dirty pipeline down.
Your dirty pipeline down.
Stop Enbridge now.
Stop Enbridge now.
Stop Enbridge now.
Stop Enbridge now.
We're gonna shut.
We're gonna shut
your dirty pipeline down.
Your dirty pipeline down.
Yay!
That was beautiful.
You sound great.
We're asked. Now back to the
Here we go. 740 million. So much for how much.
I hope that
One Wells Fargo employee took our bottle of water to go sit under basket solidarity.
They were Heather's here. Woo! That's what that was.
Oh, well, I'm
Nah,
sorry.
just kidding.
I don't know what's going on. Allegedly, I got a text from you on Thursday that did not show on my phone until this morning. I saw Keith's Facebook post before I saw your text. I don't know what's wrong with my texting. There's something seriously wrong with my texting, apparently. No, I was on my way to have breakfast at Mochabee's and saw Keith's Facebook.
Oh, really?
That's how I ended up here.
Yeah, I don't want it either.
Why does nobody watch water, Keith? That's so weird.
Yeah, Keith. It's their company's water. Why don't they want it?
I don't know. I mean, he was wearing a Wells Fargo t-shirt, so I know she likes Wells Fargo swag.
It's so weird.
Why wouldn't she want the water to match her
their
t-shirt?
personal brand. I don't get it.
Yeah. If I work for Aquafina,
Well, that might give me
if you work for Wells Fargo, you should drink Wells Fargo.
We all know it's the future.
No, so apparently there's something wrong with my Signal app because I just saw her text from Thursday. I saw your Facebook post this morning. I was on my way to Mochabee's to have breakfast and Keith's like,
you were already coming down.
I was coming to town because they're having that hearing for the board bill. I don't know if I'm gonna testify or not because my specific case is they violated the ordinance as it exists. already, so my case isn't as relevant to changing the ordinance, but I do have observations of completely unnecessary, arbitrary declarations of unlawful assemblies for over the last 3 years.
Wells Fargo has...
If you can't tell me why you're here.
What is that? What is the hashtag? Exactly, but you guys have a voice. You have more voice than we do. You have a voice to be able to go in. But that's what I'm saying.
You're blocking our access to our jobs.
We're actually.
I didn't interrupt you. You were speaking. You're blocking access.
It's a legal parking garage anyway. What year was this parking garage built? Looks like very new architecture. It looks like extreme. I'm just saying.
Not my grandchildren. I am not going to have 99% already. 99% of the scientific community believes that not only is climate change real and happening, but it's man-made.
Installations.
I don't argue with you because I don't know, but I'm just saying.
If you have a business card, I would love to send you.
I'll tell you, this stuff is some of the dirtiest oil out there. You have to like superheat it, mix it with water.
What's the hashtag?
We've been using stop line 3. I mean, that's what they've been using.
Get it to do anything. It's a terrible return on investment. Like, I don't know why anyone would put their money into this thing, just knowing how thin the margin is.
Well, I mean, oil is far from a terrible return on investment.
No. Tar sands oil is absolutely return on
Oh,
investment.
okay.
Fracking, like that's what's killing oil is fracking right there. There's
Part of the only
going towards what's easy to extract. You don't want tar sands pipeline. Nobody wants that shit.
Well, and part of the only reason that oil is actually a good investment is because of subsidies. So if it actually had to pay what day.
Well, to our brand, so I mean, saying that like it's not going to help. Other people have done this, and other banks have done this, which is why we're here. This bank has done it. There's a region bank who's doing it. Different problems and everything. It's totally possible to ban. We're not trying to take the money and just turn it and use that money to take it out of this industry. Other banks have done it. It is possible.
But why block the entrance? Can't you?
We understand that at first pass, money doesn't care about genocide.
Climate change is uncomfortable, and so is the inability.
Hey, I can't have four of you talking to me at once.
Money has no feelings. Money could give a shit.
Looks like incredibly new
Who's talking to me? I'm just asking why you have to block the entrance.
The same reason the marketing had to shut down highways in civil disobedience because following the system does not work, and it's very unfortunate that living in a country that has a First Amendment doesn't have a government that delivers solutions and listens to the people. I mean, that's really unfortunate. I think it's very important all of us have this country just to have a stable climate and some responsibility to have our voice. That's actually really
I can imagine. It's freezing out here.
So I hear you. I wish that we could have all the petitions that we've done, and the government could hear the majority of people are against tar sands. The majority of people are against these most destructive, extreme processes that phone calls actually work. Oh my God! I wish I lived under that government.
Well, phone calls definitely work.
Well, that's exactly what it is. Like, it's a gradual escalation. Try phone calls, you try petitions, you try voting, you try sitting in and protesting.
So this guy on the left center of the screen is actually one of the Wells Fargo employees who's asking why the protesters are here, hearing their message, asking them why they're...
I mean, what's the ultimate end game? I mean...
I would say a 100% just transition to renewable energy. Want that place to have more people and people currently working in the fossil fuel.
Okay, that's super long ultimate end game, right? I mean...
Well, it's got to be immediate because
well, it can't be immediate, though.
Well, it's got to be somewhat immediate. We're talking a 10-year to 20-year projection. Science says we can do that.
To get everything to renewable
Yeah, in
energy?
America, we can do it in 10 years. It's not a lack of science, it's not a lack of technology, it's a lack of commitment to will, and it's a lack of the people investing money in long-term. Globally, we gave $746 billion to fossil fuel a year. They're manufactured to be cheap, renewable. But even still, they're getting political will for a just transition to renewables. It's not like
right here. Any of these guys.
Yeah, you want it?
I don't know. Well, good luck, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to listen. It takes a while. It's okay. We got time.
When we first got here, somebody tried to run us.
People from Michigan who don't have clean water.
I don't.
There's lots of ways where we can
Find us on Twitter.
See, my only issue is because, like, if like you guys believe in this and like this is what you want to do, by all means. My problem comes in is I have no say in this, but now my day is being interrupted because of it.
You might be able to have connections and talk to people like you. You have more say in this than we do. And it's uncomfortable. My day's being interrupted because
Mine is
we
too.
continue to invest in dirty industry.
Me too. I have a job too.
And we're asking that you do your job right. And you know,
as Americans,
but that's all I'm saying is, like, I'm for you guys if you want to vote.
I mean, talk to the polar bears about how uncomfortable climate change is. Like, let's get really far out there. It's uncomfortable.
They don't talk back. No.
Or the people in Flint, Michigan.
I just study environmental biology, and you know, like.
I'm sorry.
Or the people in Flint, Michigan, who are spending every day just to get drinkable water.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
they're-
gross.
Well, it's going on right now, but it's all part of the same thing. These are not isolated.
It's a shame, but that's
incidents.
what
We
you
need
gotta
to
get
connect
used to
and have
it
this
because Wells
conversation
Fargo
and be
is
uncomfortable.
building oil pipelines.
And we're just working hard every day. We do a lot of different things.
You know, listen unless you
Jobs and families. People throughout the history of America, throughout Western civilization, we've been fighting for the rights of people who don't know this.
I don't disagree with you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. And I do apologize for the inconvenience. If there was a way to do this that was not inconvenient, believe me, we'd all be doing it.
But then would anything get done?
Well,
if
right.
it would, then we would have
it's a
radioactive waste in World War II sitting in an unlined landfill in Ferguson, Missouri.
Hey guys, back up for us. You're so tall. Why are you so high?
But anyway,
Thanks so much.
I just hope everybody can remain, you know, as long as, you know, if you guys are being treated like shit, I'm sorry. But please don't react back.
We're pretty peaceful people.
When we first got here, we were first setting up the woman literally was ran us over. We were set up like this and she kept driving at us even as we were telling her to stop.
I have nothing but love and peace in my heart, and that's exactly why I'm here today. It's because of stable climate and the peaceful world. It's nothing but that in my heart, and that is why I'm acting with clean water, water security, beverage world. You still gotta work.
Well, I do, because not everybody's like me in there.
Let's all say hi to her.
Aren't there millions of people right now around the world doing different
This is a global
demonstrations?
movement. You should be proud that St. Louis is representing. You should be proud of it.
Keep it in the soil. You can't drink oil. Keep it in the soil. You can't drink oil. Keep it in the soil. You can't drink oil. Keep it in the soil. You can't drink oil. Keep it in the soil. You can't drink oil. Keep it in the soil. Divest from fossil fuels. Put that money in renewable energy.
Carbon energy is the energy of death.
So we are here in St. Louis in front of the Wells Fargo corporate headquarters. The parking garage, the 5 protesters you see in front of me, locked down in front of the main entrance to the parking garage early this morning as employees were filtering in. So police have closed down the main entrance, and just straight ahead over to right over here, police are diverting people into the side entrance. So it is slowing down people getting in and out of the parking garage. But all the people do have to cross right by the protesters to cross the street to the Wells Fargo building right there. So this is a solidarity reaction with the No Line 3
When indigenous lives are under
movement. People right now in Minnesota trying to stop construction, block construction of the Enbridge Line 3 pipeline.
Act up, fight back! When black lives are under attack, what do we do? Act up, fight back! When black lives are under attack, what do we do? Act up, fight back! When indigenous lives are under attack, what do we do? Act up, fight back! When indigenous lives are under attack, what do we do? Act up, fight back! What do we do? Act up, fight back! What do we do? Act up, fight back!
So again, folks, if you can get down here, I imagine there'll be a little bit of a lull
Let us know when you all get in there. We're just calling for a divestment from all fossil fuels to ensure climate security and water security and indigenous sovereignty. So when you get in there, talk to the CEO and let us know. We'll get out of here.
Yeah, Enbridge. We're particularly concerned around Enbridge. Look up your investments in Enbridge.
Funding tar sands, the most destructive process ever. Google tar sands in Alberta, Canada. You cannot see what's happening up there and not feel the pain in your heart of what's happening to that land. Pristine, old-growth forest destroyed, absolutely clear-cut to extract the most disgusting, expensive, and really just pathetic attempt to extract fossil fuels from the earth. It's a clear sign of where the oil industry is headed, the extremes they're willing to take to feed their oil addiction, their unhealthy oil addiction that's killing all of us.
All that money can we put in renewable energy? Who is against renewable energy? It's free energy from the sun, from the wind, from tides, geothermal, whatever. Who thinks oil is the long-term solution for the planet? Every single nation has now signed the Paris Treaty, all of them.
Except for us. Even China. Didn't China just...
Oh, yeah.
China
And Syria.
China is the last one for renewable energy.
Because
All right, so the protesters did issue a press release. I'm going to read it for you right now. So today, St. Louis City, on the morning of November 14th, 2017, 5 water protectors took action in solidarity with frontline indigenous resistance efforts at Camp Makwa to stop the construction of Enbridge Line 3 tar sands pipeline in Minnesota. The activists locked down to each other and used their bodies to disrupt business as usual at Wells Fargo, one of the major financial players behind this genocidal, extractive fossil fuel project. Wells Fargo has $743 million invested in Enbridge, which funds tar sands, including their Line 3 tar sands pipeline. This action is one of hundreds taking place across the globe to call for divestment from financial institutions invested in destructive fossil fuel industry. Wells Fargo is just another institution that continues to make blood money off fossil fuels at a time when scientists are telling us that we must make a just transition to renewables. It's from Alex Cohen of the Earth Defense Coalition. That's where that release comes from. So this is in solidarity with the Enbridge No Line 3 camps in Minnesota trying to basically disrupt construction of the pipeline as we speak. People have locked down, put their bodies on the line there. This is a solidarity action trying to bring attention to Wells Fargo employees that their business is one of the major investors in this in the dirty fossil fuel industry still, specifically in tar sands projects like with Enbridge and like with DAPL up in North Dakota.
It's great television. Scott, I called you and you didn't answer the call.
Police haven't stopped yet, but they've been circling around. A police van just went by. Oh, there it is. It's burning right there.
Right next to the smudging.
Okay, there.
You're getting smudged right now. Heather's getting smudged, folks. Live. A live smudging. Apparently you do.
I'm not a huge fan, but it smells too much like pine.
Yeah.
I have a mild pine.
It's got its moments.
I have a mild
Sometimes it's
pine
overwhelming.
allergy, and I don't like
A pine allergy? Really?
Yeah, I have fake Christmas trees, or like a lavender bush, or no, not lavender, a rosemary. Sometimes we'll get like a rosemary bush and decorate it. But usually fake trees. Was it in Minneapolis? They were burning sage. They had taken over the vestibule in the police department for several days, and they were burning sage in there, and the police accused them of smoking pot.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
Quite a difference in
a huge difference.
Huge difference actually. A little bit. So again, we're here in St. Louis at the Wells Fargo corporate headquarters. Activists locked down in front of the parking garage, slowing down the workers getting to work here in the morning, but it's causing them to stop by and hear the message. A few people actually have stopped by to speak to the protesters, but it's definitely getting their message to every employee that has to park their car in the garage here and then get to work at the Wells Fargo corporate headquarters just across the street from us here.
don't know. I was gonna go to that hearing at City Hall, but I'm not sure. It depends. If a lot of police show up, yeah. Where you gotta go? You gotta leave. You just gotta. Thank you for coming out. Yeah. See, I wouldn't necessarily change. I'm not sure if I was going to testify or just go. A bunch of police show up.
Well, obviously.
I have no idea. They've been circling. I saw the van.
Yeah.
You don't know. You can't predict.
No, you can't.
They're unpredictable sometimes. That's part of their problem.
Very true.
They're inconsistent. I need to find out what year this parking garage was built, because it looks like awfully good construction to have a 7'6" clearance in the ceiling. Because the Americans with Disabilities Act requires 8'2" for wheelchair vans.
Really?
So if this was built like after '92, that would be a problem.
It does look rather new.
It looks very new.
Yeah.
We're calling on specifically Wells Fargo's investigation in Bridge, which is a pipeline company, and they also do extractive processes. So Canada, they're partially responsible for the tar sand operation, and they're currently constructing Line 3 pipeline, which is going to indigenous lands up north, threatening their water supply and their food supply.
They've had over 1 billion gallons of oil that they've already that they spilled between 1999 and 2014. And we're that's just something that we have invested. $740 million
Into Enbridge, yeah. So we're calling on Wells Fargo to divest from them, but really all fossil fuel and extractive trees and invest into renewables.
Across the world. All right, so thank you for asking.
So there have been a few of the Wells Fargo employees that have walked up and asked what the issues are. Obviously, some have walked by yelling things like, get a job, you know, the standard cliche lines people use to shout down protesters, which, I mean, funny enough, the unemployment rate is probably just the same as it is with the normal public in the protest community. Everyone has jobs or going to school. All the George Soros checks keep bouncing, so people still have to hold down regular jobs, guys. So we are here in St. Louis, in front of the Wells Fargo corporate headquarters building. 5 protesters have locked down with lock boxes in front of the parking garage here at Wells Fargo to bring awareness to the no Line 3 Enbridge pipeline resistance that's happening in Minnesota right now. There are people right now putting their bodies in the line, locking down, trying to halt construction of the Enbridge Line 3 tar sands pipeline. And Wells Fargo is one of the major investors in tar sands oil, specifically Enbridge. So protesters trying to bring awareness to the employees as they walk in. So they, you know, enough employees can hopefully, you know, encourage their bosses, who can encourage their shareholders to start investing in clean energy, stop trying to milk every dollar they can out of the dirty, dirty oil, even though we all know by now we should be moving away from that. And there have been quite a few employees who have walked up and asked questions. Obviously, others who have cursed at some of the protesters and laughed. But the message is definitely getting out there. Just about every employee that has to park in the garage here has to walk right by the protesters and hear their message. So regardless, the message is getting out there. And there's solidarity actions like this happening around the country and the world, basically, right now, trying to get these major banks to divest, raise awareness to the dirty tar sands pipelines that are still being built. The tar sands pipelines have a very short lifespan on them because it's such dirty, coarse oil. I mean, the regular oil and the regular pipelines leaks all the time. The tar sands, it's even a higher percentage of leaks. And people always use the argument, well, there's already thousands of pipelines, what's one more? Well, we should be taking them out and removing them before they leak, not adding more pipelines running underneath our water sources. It's basically like the argument is, well, we're already screwed, so why stop now, is not a good excuse for the people who are going to take over this planet after we're all gone. And I know it's been quiet on the Stockley verdict actions lately, but I am still here in St. Louis, as you can see. And don't know where I'll be next. I'm here in St. Louis for at least for a little while to see how things play out. I mean, it's possible I may stop up in Minnesota at the Line 3 resistance camps. Might be my next stop. I'm unsure, but either way, I rely on your help to stay here in St. Louis, to cover St. Louis, and to get to where I need to go next. Even when you don't see me streaming for a week or two at a time, it's not by choice, it's just I have nothing to cover or other things to take care of, but I need your help to stay here in St. Louis and move on to where I need to be next. So your one-time donations definitely help me out right now. I do need some funding for gas and food at the moment to just basically sustain myself as we figure out what's happening here in St. Louis and figuring out where I'm needed next. And you can also become a monthly contributor at RebZ.tv/donate. You can donate $1, $3, $5 or more a month, and it'll help sustain me for the foreseeable future. But obviously those one-time donations right now are definitely very needed. Supplies are running low. So if you guys have been waiting to donate to me, now would be the time. I could definitely use it at the moment. And I appreciate everyone who's helped me out thus far throughout the years. I do it all on your support. That's how I'm able to keep my website and my streams ad-free. That's how I'm able to get my streams on 5 platforms. That's how I'm able to have a clear signal all the time, because I have multiple hotspots, and that's all through your donations. But those bills do continue to pile up, even when I'm not streaming every day like I was 2 months ago. The same bills still come due, and I still need your help for those, and to obviously maintain my daily survival and get to where I'm going to need to be next. But that's why this is a great action for me, because like I said, this may be where I might be heading next, into Minnesota, where the Line 3 resistance camps are. If you guys followed me last year, if you're not new to RebZ, You know, I was in North Dakota for 4 months, covering the no DAPL resistance, where I had my finger almost shot off by cops with their quote-unquote rubber bullets, which was basically beanbag rounds, which is buckshot in a sock. They tried to shoot my camera and hit my pinky finger, and $35,000 in debt later, my finger is back on. But that was part of the pipeline protest too. I mean, they were not, they did not go easy on protesters there. They smeared them as violent, and that gave them the right in the public's eyes for the Morton County Police to basically terrorize indigenous water protectors and journalists there in North Dakota. Part of that due to the Tiger Swan, a mercenary company, basically giving information to police and basically telling them what to do. And we know Tiger Swan is also in Wisconsin right now, and Minnesota and Pennsylvania, the 3 main states where pipeline battles are happening at the moment. You have Tiger Swan there already getting information on protesters and smearing them to the police. And so that's what we're here for in St. Louis today, again, in front of the Wells Fargo corporate headquarters building. 5 activists, water protectors, have locked themselves with lock boxes in front of the main parking garage. They were forced to shut down the main entrances, slowing down employees getting to work this morning at Wells Fargo headquarters, and also forcing all the employees to walk by the protesters to hear their message of asking Wells Fargo to divest from Enbridge and other dirty energy companies like Enbridge. Because without the investments from the big banks, the hundreds of millions of dollars, these companies would not be able to build these large pipeline projects. Instead, they could use that $753 million Wells Fargo invests in Enbridge. They could use that in clean energy. But it's not about what's best for the climate. It's not about what's best for the people. It's about what's best for the shareholders. And that's corporate America, that's capitalist America. It's always about what's best for the shareholders. And so our grandchildren will be suffering so that way shareholders can extract whatever the profit they can from oil right now. All right, folks, I am going to bring the stream down for now. There's a alderman's hearing I may have to get to by 10 o'clock. It really depends on what's going to happen here, but I do have to go check on something. Nothing's happening at the moment. I'm going to take this hour and a half stream down for now. We do have Miss Jupiter on the scene here. Looks like she is live at the moment, so you can head on over to her channel at Miss Jupiter. I think she's doing Periscope at the moment. So I will be back here live if need be. Obviously, the cops could wait people out until 5 o'clock until all the employees leave, or the cops could wait until just like an hour or so from now until all the employees are in the building before they try to come and remove people here. Time will tell. Once I find out if I'm not right here at the scene when things go down, I will let you know on Twitter and Facebook. Follow me at revolutionary_Z or RebZ.tv on Twitter. We'll let you know. Obviously, I'm not going to keep the stream up going for potentially 12 hours here, so be back up live with an update if need be later, or if police are trying to remove them, we'll see. So again, we're here in St. Louis in front of the Wells Fargo headquarters parking garage. 5 protesters, water protectors, have locked down to block the main entrance. It's definitely slowed down the employees from getting to work, and they're forced to walk right by the protesters to get across the street to the Wells Fargo headquarters building. This is a solidarity action for the No. Line 3 Enbridge pipeline fights that are happening in Minnesota right now. So from St. Louis, here at the Wells Fargo building, lockdown happening. This is RebZ. I am out for right now, but stay tuned for updates. Again, Miss Jupiter is still live, and I will see you guys in a bit. And of course, I don't know if I'm heading there yet. It depends on what happens here, but there is a aldermanic hearing proposing a bill today that's basically against the police infringing on protesters and journalist rights, which they have done. I may need to testify at that. I'm not sure. Again, it depends on what's happening here. I don't think I'll be live streaming that hearing, but stay tuned to my pages just in case. I'm live here or there. So from St. Louis for now, this is RebZ signing out. I will see you guys in a little bit, and I'll keep you updated on what's happening here at Wells Fargo. All right, see you guys.
Yeah!